Ever wonder what life would be like if you moved halfway across the world? If you left wherever you lived and started a life somewhere totally different? Well, that's what my family and I did in 2021 when we moved from Toronto, Canada to Sharm El Sheikh, Egypt. My name is Sanja, and this is my vlog where I share little bits of my life here in Egypt and on my travels, and I hope that you join along. Before I continue, I want to thank everyone who watched my last Cairo vlog and who made me feel so welcomed in the world of YouTube and in Egypt. So sending a big shout out to everyone who commented and subscribed. I really appreciate it. There were some heated comments as well too, but I welcome debate as well, as long as everyone is nice. So thanks again, and I hope you enjoyed this video. We're gonna do some back to school shopping and prepare for my daughter's 12th birthday. I'm also gonna share a little bit of real estate information as well, because we are thinking to potentially move from the flat that we live in right now. But first, some words of wisdom. You have your clear, also I have a point of no return. Don't forget that. So back to school. School here starts a little bit later than North America. They started this year the first week of October. It's a really long summer, and they're actually finished sometime in May. So we have a really long summer, which is not a bad thing for the kids. They're quite happy about that. The school sends a list of supplies that you need, a very specific list, and when you go shopping, you kind of know exactly what you need for each class, which is very helpful so you don't actually buy more than what you need, and it's quite different than what we experienced in North America. So we went to a local shop, got whatever was needed. We spent roughly maybe about $40 for both kids for everything that was needed, which is pretty amazing. And for those of you that are curious, private school, this particular one that our kids are in, costs us around $600 a year per kid, which is really nothing considering the type of education that they're getting and the quality of education. Because the cost of living for everything else is so low for us that even with a private school, we are actually spending per month half of what we used to spend in Canada. I'll continue with that in a moment, but first I'm just going to take a food break because after all that shopping we were starving, and one of our favorite sort of quick go-to dishes is Cajun shrimp. So loads of butter, seasoning, garlic, shrimp, and then just some crusty bread to dip it all in. That's it. Back to school conversation. In Canada, education is quote unquote free. The taxes are extremely high though, so you do kind of actually pay for that. So there was some question when we came here, like, why would you want to pay for school when it's free in Canada? Well, cost of living here much lower, so it actually makes sense. Even if we have to pay for medical care or we have to pay for school, we still spend way less than what we spent in Canada. And that's simply because we are able to work online and make a living via international clients, which helps us out a lot. That being said, Canada is a country of debt. Most Canadians have massive amounts of debt, and you pretty much are in debt from the moment you graduate any type of school. Then if you get married, that's an additional debt. You buy a house, which is nearly impossible now. Again, more debt. So unfortunately, we are in that group of people that came here with Canadian debt, and we still need to pay that off, which really actually wasn't possible while living in Canada because our day-to-day life expenses were always so high that we were continuously actually getting further into debt. So you kind of pay things off and then you just get further into debt. So this was a pretty bad cycle that a lot of people in Canada are actually in. The only way that we saw to get out of this is to move to a country like Egypt where the cost of living is lower so that we could pay off our debt faster, which is what we are in the process of doing. So I have to correct myself because actually this year the kids started school in like late September. They actually started on my daughter's birthday, which she wasn't too thrilled about. So we had to celebrate her birthday a little bit early and then took her out for a nice dinner on the day of her birthday. But last year they had started in October, so I had to correct myself on that one. One fun thing here, which kind of reminds me of school back home in Serbia when I was a kid. I don't know if they still do this, but when I was a kid, we used to wrap all our books in like, pretty paper and put, labels with our name on it. And so they kind of do that here as well. Everything is color coded. Each class has a color and you put wrapper on each book and your name and you have labels. So the kids really love this part, and I kind of secretly also love it too. So while we're preparing for school, my amazing husband is helping me edit some videos. I do edit most of it myself, but I'm just still getting the hang of some things, particularly when it comes to sound. I rely on him for that. All this hard work deserves a snack, and I love making chia pudding. I don't know if you ever made it before. It's super easy. Chia seeds, I use cocoa powder, coconut milk, and sometimes honey, dates, things like that, and just leave it in the fridge. It's fantastic. It's like a family favorite, and I make it as often as I can. And we needed this energy boost because we had quite a lot of things to do this particular weekend. We were gonna go check out some apartments for sale, and we had our daughter's birthday that we need to decorate for. On this note, I want to tell you a little bit about the housing market here. To purchase a flat, I would say like a 3-bedroom apartment, would probably be expecting something like 100 to 120,000 US, and then it goes below that, right, for 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom or whatnot. So very inexpensive compared to the prices in Canada, where the most basic of houses or apartments will run you at least $1 million, if not more. Mortgage is a relatively new thing here, so most people don't actually use it, and most properties are paid for in cash. If you wanted to rent, for example, 3-bedroom is roughly around $400 a month. A 2-bedroom could be $300, and a 1-bedroom will be below that. I would say between average like $200 to $600. So low cost of living, inexpensive properties, beautiful weather is why Sharm El Sheikh is really kind of like a prime spot for foreigners. We'll have a lot of people here from the UK, Italy, Germany, Russia, Ukraine, and of course Egyptian. So now back home we go because it is my little girl's birthday this weekend. Oh, my little munchkin. She was so small. She was turning 12 and she wanted to have a Japanese themed birthday. She loves all things Japan, from the food to the anime movies and the decor, of course. So I did my very best to do some cherry blossom decorations and to make the theme as nice as I possibly could for her. It's sort of like a tradition. We always have a themed birthday, and I always try and do my best to make the decorations by hand to make it match whatever theme that they love. And I usually do a design that we put up on the TV. I print everything out after, including photos, and we create like this little package that they keep from every single birthday, including any cards they got or any decorations or things like that. And they love looking back on this. It's a really nice memory. So my daughter was sleeping in, and we took this opportunity to wrap up the decorations and to get everything set up early morning on this weekend. We were all waiting impatiently for her to wake up so we can start our day. And our kids usually actually always choose to have more of a low-key birthday. We always spend it together with family. In Canada, we did invite more friends and their friends over and sometimes had bigger parties. But even though they have friends here and all that, they're kind of wanting to just spend more time with us at home as a family, which is kind of nice. So my daughter did want to have her best friend over, which is what we did, and she was so pleasantly surprised with the decorations and the day ahead, and of course her gifts, and we were so happy to be able to do this for her. I just want to go back to talking about school for a moment, because someone had asked me in a comment in my previous video whether my kids are actually in school and if there are schools in Sharm. And obviously I'm doing a back to school video, so therefore they are in school. Just to provide some information, there are both public and private schools in Sharm El Sheikh, much like the rest of Egypt. Here in Sharm we have a British school, which is a private, French school. There are several international private schools, which is what my kids are in. And the school that my kids are in follow an Egyptian curriculum. However, it is considered an international school. Majority of the classes are in English, whereas like the British school, for example, everything is in English and it is the British curriculum. There's an option later down the line for us to transfer kids over into the American section of the school. Same school, but this means that they would end up with an American high school diploma, which is something that we might consider doing, considering that it would probably be a more beneficial diploma for them if they were wanted to study in college and university anywhere abroad versus an Egyptian diploma. We also enrolled our kids in private Arabic lessons, which they both attend 3 times a week. They go for 1 hour, and that costs us $9 a week or $36 a month for both of our kids to attend the Arabic lessons, which has helped them out a lot. Now back to the birthday. We have this tradition where we get our kids to choose what breakfast and dinner they want for their special day. And my daughter chose Japanese pancakes, which are kind of like souffle pancakes. So they're a fluffier version than a regular sort of traditional pancake, and they came out so nicely. It was my first time to make them, and I was so glad that they didn't flop. And for dinner, she opted for sushi, which is one of my favorite things to eat and to make. We actually have a tradition with my parents where we get together and we all make sushi together. It's something that we started actually during the pandemic because we were kind of stuck at home. And it is one of my daughter's favorite meals as well too. Before I get to the sushi, I want to talk about this cake. It's just such a sad looking cake. So disappointing. I used to make cakes for my kids before, but lately just not enough time. And we tried to order a cake that matched the Japanese theme, and it didn't match any theme, I think, but it's okay. It was tasty. My daughter was happy. Life goes on. Life lesson: never let an ugly cake ruin your birthday, or any day for that matter. Cake is still cake, right? On to the sushi. Quick tip: use your leftover rice water to water your houseplants once a month. It's fantastic fertilizer, but no more than once a month. That's more than enough. So the only way for us to make sushi at home here in Sharm is to actually buy ingredients that we need in Cairo, and sometimes we actually buy them in Serbia as well. We can get some things here, obviously, like rice and soy sauce, but other ingredients such as the seaweed or wasabi, those are harder to come by, and I think I've only seen wasabi here once. That is something about Sharm, that you can't necessarily get everything in terms of sort of specialty grocery items as you would in Cairo. So we do kind of stock up on these things when we visit Cairo. There's a few Asian stores, or again, when we are in Serbia. My parents also bring this kind of stuff for us from Serbia all the time. But we are never short on sushi supplies because we are huge sushi lovers, so we do make it often. It's not that difficult to make, though it may seem like it, but listen, we're not pros, so please don't judge our sushi wrapping or cutting techniques. It's just tasty. That's all that I can tell you. All in all, it was a fantastic day. My daughter had a great birthday. The food was amazing, and it was a really nice way for us to end the summer break, because in a couple of days it was back to school for my daughter. My son was starting a few days after her. So she wasn't thrilled about that, but she had a beautiful day nonetheless. I am happy to report that my daughter survived her first day of school. Just amazing. We had to go celebrate. Well, actually, no, we had to celebrate because this was the actual day of her birthday. So we decided to take her out for some burgers and french fries at a local Tex-Mex restaurant called Grill House. They have things like tacos and enchiladas and quesadillas and pretty decent burgers, but the wait is pretty long for the food, which my son was not thrilled about. That's okay. We had Mustache Kitty to keep us company and entertain. I mean, did someone hire this guy? Because he just fit the bill perfectly. The burgers came, they're pretty amazing, but it's like a heart attack on a bun. You only really want to eat this pretty much like once a year, and then you're done. But very delicious. All was good and all was right, and we had a successful first day of school back, and it wasn't as bad as she thought it was going to be. It never really is. So I really thank you for watching and spending this time with us, and I hope that you learned a little bit more about Sharm and that you follow us along. Please do subscribe, comment, like, and share. It would mean a lot to me. Till next time, take care and be sure to create your best life.